to everyone that's joining in the stream, everyone that will be here in the coming minutes. You know, I was hearing some news today. I was kind of caught in between whether or not I was going to stream because I wasn't really feeling too well these last couple of days. But you know what? I decided, you know what? I'm going to shake it off. I'm going to go ahead and go streaming anyway. So yeah, big shout outs to you guys. Honestly, I was just gonna put it off until later on because right now it's 1:31 a.m. I was gonna put it on until later on. I was gonna put it off until a little bit later on, but with these things that are happening, man, like yo, we gotta come out here and talk about these things. You know what I mean? Because these things are affecting they're affecting everyone, right? They're affecting the common man, the common people that are in America, the average everyday person that works the 9 to 5. And yeah, people of people like that, right? Anyway, I came across something earlier today, and I just kept not earlier today, not that long ago, right? Since I came home, because right, like I do watch a lot of YouTube, right? So on like on my YouTube feed, I do see these things pop up from time to time. And when they pop up, I have no choice but to actually, look a little further into what it is that they're saying, and then, that opens up a Pandora's box, and then I gets to, maybe go into a different source, and then actually really investigating these things to find out if these things are actually true, right? But anyway, Trump has decided that it would be a good idea to tax our neighbors. Well, to put tariffs on, he's not going to tax our neighbors. We're going to be the ones that are going to have to pay for it. But yeah, to put what, a 25% tariff on Mexican goods and also on Canadian goods. Yeah, that's man. I mean, I spoke about this, but let's go a little bit more into it to find out if this is actually what it is that's happening, because that's bizarre to say the absolute very least. But let's find out what it is that's going to happen.
Trump has just announced that starting on day one of his administration, he'll charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tax for all products coming into the United States, all in caps there.
On day one, look, this is first of all, day one is going to be very eventful to say the least. How you doing, Vetrivel? Big ups to you guys. We like toast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's gonna be a very, 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 very busy first day. I mean, for somebody to, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. We like toast. Big shout outs to We Like Toast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining. Yeah, but it's gonna be a very, very eventful first day. I'm gonna repeat that real quick for the people that are coming in.
Breaking news
What
this
they're saying.
hour
So
as
hold on.
President-elect Trump has just announced that starting on day one of his administration, he'll charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tax for all products coming into the United States, all in caps there. That could raise costs for Americans on everything coming across either border. We're talking about cars, electronics, oil, wood, food, avocados, maple syrup. Trump says it's to force the U.S.'s closest neighbors to take action on illegal immigration and crime and drugs. But he's not stopping there. After that, just a few moments later, he also posted this on Truth Social, saying the United States will charge an additional 10% tariff on all of China's many products coming into the U.S.
And then an additional 10% on the Chinese tariffs. What like so? Is he talking about the additional 10% to the already 100% tariffs that he's been threatening on China? Guys, again, once these things are imported or are coming into the country, so all right, so boom, right? So kind of piggyback on what he was saying before about threatening to charge China 100% tariff, right, or something along those lines, right? We're not just talking about what's happening right here with the neighbors to the north and the south, or even if we are talking about that, right? So 25% of $100, something that's worth $100. So instead of you paying $100 for it, you're gonna be paying what, 125. because 25% of 100 is 25, right? So instead of you paying, so something that you would be paying $100 for, you're gonna be paying $125 for. Something that you're paying $1,000 for, you're paying 1,250, right? And the further up you go, the more you have to pay, right? Now, if it's the 100% tariff that he's threatening on some of these Chinese goods, a lot of these things that you're ordering on these Temu, I remember people were kind of joking about my microphone being from Temu. It's not, but whatever. Even if it was, I paid for it, but it's not. But if you were buying something, right, from Temu, which is it's very, very cheap, right? Very, very I haven't bought anything from Temu, but I'm guessing it's very much like Alibaba, right? Or yeah, I'm guessing it's very, very similar to that. So if you're buying goods from there, and you're already paying a price that you can't get that price anywhere, right? Because you're actually getting it directly from the source. Then what happens now? The things that you used to pay, you know, $10 for on Temu with 100% tariffs, you're gonna pay $20 for. The things that you used to pay $100 for, if you're buying wholesale from Alibaba or one of these places, right? So you might be buying something, I don't know, bottles, right? Maybe you're selling, hot sauce or something, right? So you're buying bottles, right? And you're buying bottles in bulk from China, and these bottles that you're buying from China, you're already getting it from a discounted price because if you bought it here in the USA, you're probably going to pay a premium. For whatever reason, it's going to cost more for you to buy it in America. So you decide, all right, cool. China is offering me these bottles for, I don't know, let's say you wanted 10,000 bottles, right? 10,000 bottles. And to get these 10,000 bottles, it's only going to cost you $1,000, right? So you pay $1,000 to get these 10,000 bottles. Now, if the tariff goes through, now you're paying, instead of $1,000, you're going to be paying $2,000. You're going to be paying because the tariffs are going to be on the imports. So guess who's going to be paying the extra money? You're going to be paying. If it's the electric vehicles that we're seeing, because everything is becoming more electronic, right? It's the electric vehicles and the electric vehicles that are coming from China, which, China, let's be honest about it, they're actually leading the way right now in terms of electric vehicles. I know a lot of us might think it's Tesla and this, that, and the third. It's not. It's really what's happening over there in China. And I believe the name of the company is BYD, if I'm not mistaken. But if let's say for instance, they're selling a car, or let's not even use BYD or Rivian, right? One of these Chinese electronic vehicle making companies, right? And they're selling you a vehicle, and the vehicle is going to cost $50,000, right? So typically it's costing $50,000 to get this vehicle, whatever the vehicle is, the Rivian truck, the nice little new Rivian truck, vroom vroom, right? Obviously you're not going to hear any vroom vroom because it's electric. So anyway, you go to the dealership, and you got to know your mind that you're going to go to the dealership and you're going to pay $50,000 to get this Rivian truck, right? I don't know if that's the cost or not, but for argument's sake, right? This is how much it costs right now, right? Actually, you know what? Let's actually look it up to see how much the Rivian trucks cost, and then we're gonna actually break this down because this is something. So Rivian, how much am I getting for a Rivian truck? Let's go shopping. No, I guess I have to go to the Rivian website. So I go to the Rivian website. Okay, cool. So now I'm on the Rivian website and I'm looking at some of these Rivian trucks, right? Now these Rivian trucks, I can go down to the brand that everyone else could kind of afford. Well, most people anyway, right? I say most people, some people, right? Maybe the middle class person could kind of like splurge a little bit, right? Let me see if I can find the cheapest model. The cheapest model that I saw thus far was 66,000 or something along those lines, right? So let's say for argument's sake, all right, boom. So you go to the dealership and you're thinking to yourself, all right, I want a new Rivian. and you have it in your mind that the Rivian is going to cost $60,000. Boom. Okay, cool. You go to England, they're paying 60,000. In, I don't know, Italy, they're paying 65. I don't know how much tariffs they have over there in these places, right? So they're paying 65, and maybe in Germany they're paying, I don't know, 70, right? So the ballpark, pretty much the same amount, somewhere around 60, 70, right? So everybody else is paying between 60 to 70 $1,000, depending on what their import and export tariffs are between those two countries as well, between all of those countries as well. But then you know what you're going to be paying if that 100% tariff comes through? You know what you're going to be paying? So for that car that you normally would pay $60,000 and everybody else is paying just about around $60,000 for, you're going to be paying $120,000 for that car. You're going to be paying that if it's something that's being imported from China, right? Now, what are some goods that are imported from Canada and Mexico? What do we import from Mexico? Yeah, let's see what we import from Mexico. All right, so we import vehicles from Mexico. Mexico is the U.S. largest supplier of automobiles, producing 16 out of every 100 cars sold in America. So 16% of the cars that we have here in America are imported from Mexico. So yeah, that's a significant amount, right? Considering the fact that we import cars from other places as well. But 16%, that's a significant amount. So now these cars are going to start costing more, right? It's going to start costing the consumer more once these tariffs go through from Mexico, right? So when I typed it into Google, the first thing that actually popped up was vehicles. Then you stroll down a little bit, and you see electronics and appliances, right? So Mexico supplies computers, monitors, telephones, refrigerators, and air conditioners, right? So these things, all of these things, right, which, you might think of these things as essential appliances, right? So these things, computers, right, monitors, right, telephones, refrigerators, and air conditioners. These are things that you guys might think to yourself, well, they kind of add value to our life, right, in modern society, right, or modern Western society. Like, these things add some value to your life. Well, now these things are going to cost more, right? Crude petroleum. Mexico is a major oil producer, exporting 48% of its oil directly to the United States. So you know what's going to happen now? So now the gas is going to cost more. Mexico is Latin America's leading exporter of medical devices. Medical devices. Sounds important, doesn't it? So now those things are also going to cost more. Fresh fruit and vegetables. Everybody's been kind of complaining about the fruits and how everything is costing more in modern day. Yeah, right. You're right about that. Yes, it does get a little bit expensive sometimes. As a matter of fact, I went to the grocery store a few hours ago, about maybe four hours ago or so, right? And when I was at the grocery store, I just wanted some water, right? So I wanted a case of water, I wanted some apples, and I wanted some lime, right? So basically those three things. I ended up spending in excess over $20 to get those three things. Some apples, some lime, and some water, right? Exhibit A, I have the water right here, right? A case of water. So yeah, I understand it, right? Because you kind of you're like, whoa, hold on, I had to pay damn near 20 some odd dollars for this, and all I walked out with was these. Well, guess what? Now these fresh fruits and vegetables are going to cost more with these tariffs. Yeah, but this is what we voted for. Not we, as in me, right? Hey, I mean, but this is what was voted for. So now, roasted coffee beans. Everybody loves their coffee. People like to go to their Starbucks, and every now and then I'll go out and I'll hang out at a Starbucks, but probably not gonna drink their coffee, but I might get some tea or something, right? Or I might get they have this thing, this green juice in the bottle. It's really good. I don't even remember what it is, but it's this green juice that they have there, but it's in the bottle, and it's phenomenal. I love that juice. But yeah, all of these things are gonna start costing more. Yeah. So other other goods imported from Mexico include motor vehicle parts, computer equipment, oil and gas, electrical equipment, audio and video equipment, beverages, optical and medical equipment, right? So these are just a few of the things that are being imported from Mexico, right? You put tariffs on these things. What happens? The average American has to pay for it. The rich gets richer. The average American gets to pay for it. The rich gets richer. The average American gets to pay for it. And then now what happens when these countries, America, Mexico, they start getting a little bit agitated with what it is that's happening right now? Hold on, wait, time out. Are they going to now, because obviously this is going to be a significant portion of their economy that's going to be affected by this, right? Because now, once you start taxing these companies that are selling these goods, right, it's going to trickle all the way down to the everyday average person. So, you think you were complaining about inflation before. Watch this, if this goes through. So, this is the guy saying that on day one, this is what he's going to do. Yeah? I'm not saying this. We just played it. This is what the news reporter is saying that Donald Trump said that he's going to. Let's get right back to it. Let's listen to what it is that you're saying.
All in caps there. That breaking news this hour as President-elect Trump has just announced that starting on day one of his administration, he'll charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tax for all products coming into the United States. All in caps there. That could raise costs for Americans on everything coming across either border. We're talking about cars, electronics, oil, wood, food, avocados, maple syrup. Trump says it's to force the U.S.'s closest neighbors to take action on illegal immigration and crime and drugs. But he's not stopping there. After that, just a few moments later, he also posted this on Truth Social.
Avocados from Mexico. I mean, you guys have all heard that. I know you guys like your guacamole, right? Some of you guys anyway. Real big fan of your guacamole and going to Chipotle and paying, I don't know, maybe like 12, 14, 15 bucks, get you something from Chipotle. Well, enjoy paying 20 bucks at Chipotle now.
The United States will charge an additional 10% tariff on all of China's many products coming into the U.S. Of course, those many products include everything: smartphones, computers, washing machines, toys, video game consoles. My team of political and economic sources join me now. And Rana, just on the Mexico and Canada aspect, 51% of all fresh fruit, 69% of vegetables, according to the USDA, come from Mexico.
Yeah.
Hello? What did she just say? 51%? Of fresh fruit, and then 69. Hold on, repeat those numbers again for me,
on
ma'am.
The Mexico and Canada aspect, 51% of all fresh fruit, 69% of
51% of all fresh fruit. I'm an average fruit eater, right? I eat fruit all the time, right? Especially these days, right? Now, if I'm honest, I prefer organic fruit. Right? If I can find organic fruit, that's probably the direction I'm going in. Again, I neglected to mention the fact that the fruit that I did buy was organic tonight. The apples that I purchased. But at the same time, ding dong, 51% of fruit. How many? 69% of what?
According to the U.S.
Hold on.
51% of all fresh fruit, 69% of vegetables, according to the USDA.
69% of vegetables. Hello. Oh, you thought it cost money to be healthy, right? You thought it cost money to be healthy before. You thought having healthy food was expensive before. Watch this. Watch this.
Come from Mexico.
Yeah.
These are voters who just put Trump in office because they trusted him more on the economy. How should they be reading a promise like that from Trump tonight?
Oh, man. Well, I was always astounded, I have to say, that he ran on, I'm going to lower inflation, when if you look at the policies, tariffs included, it's all about raising inflation, right? And it's also raising the dollar, which is going to have a larger impact in the market. I want to just say, though, I think this is an opening gambit. I don't want to say that, all right, this is going to be the way it's going to be from day one. Trump says a lot of things.
You think he's bluffing?
I think that what's happening fundamentally now that's different under this president is that the U.S. market will be used as a chit on a gambling table that is the global economy. I mean,
This is precisely what it is that I'm talking about. Sherry Ann, how you doing, Sherry Ann? Big ups to everybody that's joining. I'm sorry, guys. I know I haven't really been paying too much attention to what's going on in the chat. I do apologize, but again, these things are very, very important for us to be talking about these things, guys. Right? So again, when they talk about tariffs, so at the same time when he was campaigning, he was telling you, I'm gonna put tariffs on China. I'm gonna tax China, thinking in his mind, right? I'm guessing this is what he was thinking, is that China was gonna pay those taxes. That's not how it works. And I guess when people were, when he was saying those things, people are like, yeah, we'll vote for you. We like how that sounds. But guess what? Who's going to have to pay for those tariffs? Those tariffs are on imports. Who's going to have to pay for that, right? So those goods, everything, all you little electronic devices that you guys love so much, it's going to cost more. Everything's going to cost more. Should these tariffs actually go through, everything is going to cost more. Look, this is what we warned you about. We sat up here all through November, right? All through November, thousands and thousands of people, and we spoke about these things. We did. We gave examples. We let you know why it will be a terrible idea to put these tariffs on China. Additional tariffs on China. And now Mexico and Canada as well, our neighbors. He's handing out tariffs like candy on Halloween. He's handing out tariffs to our neighbors like it's candy on Halloween. Like it's candy on Halloween. Hey, you get a tariff. You get a tariff. And guess who has to pay for the tariffs that he's handing out to our neighbors? You. Yeah. You. Any American citizen, resident, people that live in America, people that are visiting America, whatever it is, we're going to have to be the ones to pay these tariffs.
That is the way you have to look at it. We are not in trade as usual. We are not in the economy that we've known, frankly, for the last 40 years or so. It's going to be totally different.
I mean, Alyssa, you worked for Trump as his communications director in the White House. I mean, there are moments where Trump says he's going to do something and backs down. He did it his last time in office. He definitely put tariffs on, but there were certain ones where advisors could talk him out of that. What does that look like in round two?
Well, Donald Trump has basically...
I don't think you have any advisors that could really talk him out of anything, to be honest with you. So I don't necessarily agree all the way with her. Maybe if it's something that he sort of looks at and he sees the negative repercussion that it would have in regards to his political career, in which I don't know what's going to happen to his political career after this presidential term. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that with with fingers crossed. But yeah, so he'll say he might back out if he sees, oh, this is probably going to have an extremely negative effect on him personally. But as far as people that can actually sit down and say, hey, I don't think you should do this. Do you really think that he's going to sit down there and listen to these people? Do you really think so? Do you really, honestly, truly think so? I am in India, Tamil Nadu state. Big up yourself and big ups to all of India. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Do you think Goku? Okay, not gonna talk about that. Someone says manufacture our own ish. Well, yeah, okay, manufacture our own ish. But if you're gonna manufacture your own ish, then why, for the life of me, are you going to send away the people that would be working in these factories, working on these farms, doing these things, right? So you're talking about manufacturing our own stuff, but what about the goods that we actually need? What about the goods that we need, the resources that we need from these other countries as well, right? Certain material that we need that we don't produce here in America because we simply don't have those resources. What about those things? So yeah, it sounds manufacture our own crap. But then what about the Americans that don't want to work at these factories? But now you're thinking about, okay, let's deport people that are here to try to work, that are here trying to do the right thing, that'll be willing to work in these factories. I don't know. I'm just, it's just not adding up to me. Right? So yeah, he come on, man. Cut it out, man. Stop it. What up, BB? What up, BB? Says nice Leatherman jacket. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. BB, are you complimenting me? What's going on tonight? BB sometimes likes to give me a hard time. BB likes to give me a hard time sometimes. But good to see you either way. Someone says bye, dunking. Someone says that's a lie, folks, says Angela. No, they won't. Mexico will comply, says Angela. That's a lie, folks, says Angela. Great job, Angela. Thank you for adding value to our conversation. Produce increased early 2K due to farmer making biodiesel instead. Okay. I'm not entirely sure if that's accurate or not, to be honest with you. Prices go up. Yep, you're absolutely right about that. Nice to see some people not spreading propaganda, says Mitchell Castillo. Yeah. Look, I like to keep things I like to keep it real, right? Of course, obviously, we're going to have our own opinions and we're going to mix our opinions into it, right? But I like to stick to what the facts are, right? So I do appreciate you, for noticing that. Thank you so much. Not the avocado toast. Yes, Mitchell Castillo. Yes, the avocado toast that you love so much, right? The avocado that you like to spread. Hey, and they had this avocado dip. I remember I went on a road trip and I went over to Chicago. I literally drove from New York to Chicago by myself, right? It was a phenomenal trip, by the way. Loved it over there. Chicago is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful city. And on my way there, I was actually snacking on this avocado toast, like going there and coming back, right? So I'd get these sun chips, right? The sun chips, I think it's like the cheddar one, or I could get the salsa one, like whatever. I'd get the sun chips and I'd get the avocado, what did I say it was before? The salsa thing. I don't know what it's called, right? But the avocado thing. And that was my chips and dip right throughout driving. That's pretty much the only thing that I was eating, right? Was the chips and dips, the avocado dip. Right? But now, ladies and gentlemen, those avocado dips that we love so much, oh yeah, now we're going to have to pay a little bit more for those avocado dips. Yeah.
Core policy beliefs. He believes the border should be secure and he believes in tariffs, even when his economic advisors have at times recommended strongly against them in the previous administration. This is something he ran on and was vocal about, and I'm not surprised that this is one of the first things that he's announcing, despite warnings from fellow Republicans who have said this is actually just going to increase the cost of goods on everything. A lot of folks are calling it an Amazon tax.
Now, the crazy thing is he ran on this. He was telling you that these are the things that he was telling you that he was going to. He didn't say Mexico and Canada like that. He just snuck that in there on us, right? But I mean, at this point, think about everything that was done before that he's gotten away with doing. At this point, he might be thinking, He's thinking, man, I could do whatever I want. And these people will still vote for me. And these people will still support me. Huh? Because I've done all of these things without consequence to this point. Why should I stop now? Is this what the people that were so concerned about inflation, is this exactly what it is that you wanted? Because you're so concerned about the inflation and oh my God, everything is costing so much money. And we sat here and I told you guys over and over and over again, COVID-19 shut down the entire world, shut down all type of factories. People were unable to go to work. You remember, right? You guys are old enough to remember. People were unable to go to work. People were locked in their houses. People were frustrated, right? Goods were not being produced. Supply started to decrease drastically, and demand started to increase exponentially. So what do you think is going to happen? Obviously now, because of the scarcity of the goods that we have, that we already have, right, and the goods that are not being produced at and the services and goods and all of that sort of stuff that's not being produced at the rate that it was being produced before, what's going to happen now? Guess what? The price is going to go up. Yeah. So, and I'm not going to sit up here and blame Trump for COVID. How he handled COVID was despicable. The guy got up there and told people to go drink bleach. Was it drink bleach? What did he say? Ingest some sort of something. I don't quite remember what it was that he said, but it was something basically telling you to ingest some sort of cleaning products, right? This is how he was handling COVID-19. He didn't really know what it was that he was doing, right? So the whole COVID situation and the social distancing and slowly, right, working our way back into how things sort of was before, but not really. That had a big effect, huge effect, right, on what happened to the economy. But people fail to understand that. Most people fail to understand that. Most people don't understand that. Most people don't get that because of COVID-19, right, the cost of a lot of things had to go up. Trust me, it hurt me too. Most people don't understand that it's Congress that controls the purse. It's Congress that sent you those stimulus checks. I've heard people say, oh yeah, they're voting for Trump because of the stimulus checks, right? Because he branded it with his name. Just like he branded some of these towers with his name. But these towers don't really belong to him, a lot of them, right? It's just his name is going right across these towers because of the brand. But this is what the people voted for. This is what the people wanted. Let's find out what else she has to say. Hold on.
That is, coming from China, you're going to pay a lot more for. There will be advisors around him. I'll be curious to see how his incoming Treasury Secretary wants to react to this. Steve Mnuchin in the first administration was somebody who often pushed back on some of the efforts to put in place bigger tariffs. But you have people like Peter Navarro, who is in his ear saying this is the way to hold Mexico, China, and other places accountable. And he's expected to get...
This is the way to hold Mexico and China and these people accountable. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Listen. In order to move forward, it is not in the best interest of America to create enemies with our neighbors or with anyone, for that matter. It's not in our best interest to create enemies. It's not. Okay? As of this point, the Chinese economy is... Listen to me. The Chinese economy is expanding at a ridiculous rate. Right? I want to use the term... I don't want to use the other term because I don't know how that's going to... But anyway, because of what's happening with China and how they're rapidly, gaining on the American economy. Moreover, they have about what 3 times the amount of people that we have here. Um, you know, and with the alliance that China has with Russia, Brazil, was it BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, uh, China, South Africa, and then other countries that want to get involved with BRICS as well. Once they start now offering alternatives, right, to the U.S. reserve currency, and other people are like, I know how we could get back at America. Let's trade with the BRICS currency. What if they say that? What if people start saying that? And because we're over here giving tariffs, handing out tariffs left, right, and center, making things difficult, right? For people to sell these things, right? Because now, before, let's say you could get, I don't know, 7 tons of fruit. Now you can't get 7 tons of fruit no more, right? Consistently, you've been getting 7 tons of fruit for a very long period of time, but now, right? I'm saying this if you're a big corporation, right, or a big company or whatever it is. But now you can't get the 7 tons of fruit. Now you can only afford 3 tons of fruit. They're probably looking at it like, okay, well, we got to go elsewhere to get off the remaining 4 tons. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I know. Let's find someone else that we could trade with. Look, I understand what's happening with China. I think when Kamala Harris sat up there and she said, I will offer you a seat at the table, this is precisely what we needed. We needed someone who's going to sit up there and listen to the ideas of other people. Because nobody has it all figured out. Right? Invite other people to the table to discuss these things. Listen. These guys don't strike me as listeners.
A top job, Peter Navarro. But speaking of his Treasury Secretary pick, Scott Bessent, who we were just talking about here on Friday, he did a CNBC interview right after the election and was talking about tariffs. And this is what he said about the effectiveness of how they're implemented.
I would recommend that tariffs be layered in gradually, which would the price adjustment would be over a period of time.
And Essie, when you hear that, I want to get both your thoughts on this, but when you hear that, congressional Republicans or business Republicans who, like Trump, have said for a long time, it's a threat. He's threatening this to stop fentanyl coming across the border, to stop illegal immigration. The question is, what does it look like in January if he actually does have to put these on?
Bad. Remember there was a thing a long time ago. It was called a fiscal conservative. Do you remember what that was? I do. It was good times.
There's a few in the Midwest.
That was a few are still around. But for us, that meant lowering the debt and the deficit. That meant anti-inflationary economic policy, and a foundational to that was anti-protectionism, and that means opposing tariffs. And that's for a century. That's not new. That was bedrock to the right. And that's why you're still seeing some Republicans and some conservatives like the Club for Growth and National Review write column after column begging Trump to abandon this and even to stop talking like this, because even the threat triggers a trade war. No one wins a trade war.
That's what I'm trying to... This is exactly what it is that I'm saying. Even the threat, right? Just even saying it, people are already on the defense. Oh, yeah? Oh, that's what you think? Oh, okay. I'm going to show you something. Come on.
Just, we know that. And to your point, I talked to voters for 6 months. The main thing they wanted was for Trump to lower the cost of goods. The exact opposite is the first thing he's going to do when he gets into office if he follows through with this.
And Caitlin, you got to know.
I'm smiling, but it's not funny.
People aren't just going to sit back and say, "Oh, wow, you raised our tariffs. We're going to sit here and let it happen." They will then respond in some way. And so these are three of our largest trading partners that are out there. So we just think about our exports. I just wrote it down. We export $427 billion to Canada. We export another $362 billion of goods to Mexico, and another $200 billion of goods to China. And you know, one of the things we export to China? Soybeans. And you know where soybeans are grown? Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, all states that voted for Donald Trump. So he's supposed to be representing these voters, and he may in fact be putting them in a position where they're going to have a harder time selling their products, and it's going to cost us money.
What about oil? I mean, the U.S.
What if China now in return and all of these countries in return say, "Oh yeah, you want to put tariffs on us? All right, well we're gonna put tariffs on you too." Then what happens then? And what happens then when the people in these countries can't afford to buy these goods? And then somebody in I don't know, Africa, or someone in I don't know, Indonesia is offering them a far lower price. What happens then?
Exports $4.3 million barrels of oil a day from Canada. What does that look like when there's a 25% tariff on that for people who rely on that?
Well, not good. And, you know, food and fuel hits the lower 25% of the sort of socioeconomic ladder hardest. So the working people, that many of them that voted for Trump, are going to get hit. But I want to say two things. I think, again, we have to think about this as a bargain, as a game that Trump is playing. And, you know, not to justify
and voters
tariffs.
trust Trump on this. I mean, that's part. I mean, the numbers overwhelmingly showed that
100%. And I think that they are aware.
I look, I was fooled before. I'm not going to lie to you, right? Because I didn't think that people really were going to vote for this guy after everything that he was saying and doing, regardless of the fact of who he was, right? But yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Hold on.
Game that Trump is playing. And, you know, not to justify
and voters
tariffs.
trust Trump on this. I mean, that's part. I mean, the numbers overwhelmingly showed that
100%. And I think that they are aware that we are in a new world where, you know, yes, there used to be when everybody was coming together.
I could be wrong, but I don't. I hope I'm wrong. Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I honestly do not want to believe that people are that stupid. I don't. And maybe I'm stupid for believing people are not that stupid to really trust him on this, right? Because it's not a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. It's not. It's all the way around. It's bad. It's bad for everyone involved.
In the kind of Anglo-American style capitalism, that was one thing to have, a trickle-down, low deficit and debt. Now you're competing against China. You're competing against countries that have fundamentally different economic system.
What did I say before? Now you're competing against China. What did I say before? We're actually competing against China now. China is really, really, really growing, guys. Trust me when I tell you that. You can't do things like how you were doing it before. No. Not today, right? You got to do things different. You got to listen to different ideas. The old way ain't going to work in the new world. Trust me when I tell you that. The old way ain't going to work in the new world.
And, you know, not a huge fan of tariffs, but I do think that they are one tool in the toolbox that can be deployed in strategic ways. You saw Biden do it too. So this is not just
and how he's
Republican,
messaging it matters. So he's kind of framing this as we're doing it because we're having fentanyl come over the border, we're having the legal flow of people in the country, and those are real issues that voters said that they cared about.
Right, because he's doing it as threats to these countries, right? He's doing it as threats. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't.
And I
think this is also getting ahead of if he does go forward with this mass deportations that he's talking about. If we're not talking about Obama numbers of like 2 million people, you're talking 10 million people, that impacts the agriculture sector, that impacts the hospitality sector. There's major economic impacts. And I think this gives him some cover when people start realizing the downside of also his immigration policies.
Yeah, or when the tariffs are put in place and guacamole is
I mean, really anything but
really extra at Chipotle.
Yeah, exactly. Portion smaller.
Everyone, thank you for that.
Everything that I was talking about before. Wow. Yep. See? So they pretty much echoed that, and I didn't watch that video before. I just kind of wanted to hear what their perspective was on this whole tariff situation. Yeah, doesn't look good. I certainly hope not. But this is something that's not within my control. You know, if it were up to me, right? I would try my hardest to make the life of every citizen at least a little bit better. But at most, with everything that I can to make that happen. This is not going to make any citizen's life any better. This is not going to make your life easier. It's not. It's going to do the opposite. So the stuff that you were stressing over before and everything that you're stressing over right now, and, talking about the food costs and the cost of everything and how everything's gone up. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. So I hope in this case, I really, honestly, in this case, I hope this is not what's going to happen. Because if it does happen, it's going to be bad. And it's going to demoralize a whole lot of people. But we sat up here and we did our best, right, to try to, convince people that, yes, regardless of the fact that you might look at it and you might think, oh, she's a woman and this, that, and the third. When you look at the two leadership styles, and you look at the two individuals, it was one that was just clearly the better candidate, in my opinion. But, and then some people may argue, oh, yeah, because, he got more votes, so he had to be right. No, that's not how it... Look, popularity isn't... Look, McDonald's is more popular than Panera Bread. I'm trying to think of a better example. All right, we could still use that, right? McDonald's is more popular than... I don't know, salad, right? Smoothie J, whatever, right? McDonald's is more popular than a health food restaurant, right? Any health food restaurant that you would name. From Panera Bread to whatever, right? It doesn't mean McDonald's is better. It doesn't. It does not. Just because McDonald's is pretty much everywhere, and you can go there and you can get you can buy a Big Mac, right? Or you can buy a chicken sandwich, and it tastes good. Doesn't mean it's good for you. So miss me with the popularity argument. When it came down to it, and we sat at the table, right? And we had the opportunity to decide, okay, do you want a nice salad or a full course meal with the salad and with whatever protein of your choice, right? If you're a vegan, I don't know, maybe you get some beans or whatever it is, or you get your fish or you get your chicken or whatever it is that you eat, right? But I'm offering you some organic, fresh off the farm, healthy food, right? I'm offering you something that's wholesome. It has all of the essential minerals and vitamins and all of the things that you need. I'm offering you this. And on the other side, I'm offering you cheesecake, right? So You can choose between whether you want a full course meal or whether you want a cheesecake, right? You decided, and this isn't, directed necessarily towards everybody that's here, but you decided, oh no, screw the full course meal with all the essential minerals and vitamins and all of that sort of stuff. I don't eat that crap. Give me the cheesecake. That's what you said. And you know something? Most people are probably going to go for the cheesecake. Most people are probably going to go for the cheesecake. Or the burger. So you could miss me with the popularity argument. It's not about the popular. It's not. That's no. It's about what's best for you. It's about what's best for the country. And we dropped the ball on that. We dropped the ball. And hopefully, in the next 4 years, we could find someone. If not Kamala Harris, I'm hoping that it's Kamala. If not Kamala Harris, we could find someone, right, that will offer the full course meal with all the essential vitamins and minerals and everything that it is that you need that's essential for you. And I hope that when that person offers that full course meal, instead of us going for the McDonald's meal, we decide, all right, cool, you know what? We're ready for it. Full course meal it is. Full course meal it is. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to hang around too much. I did start the stream extremely late. I do apologize for not interacting too much with you guys, but on my way out, I'm going to read a few of the messages, but I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys for tapping in tonight. This is a lot later than usual, but I really honestly was not fit. My stomach was not filled. I ate some, I bought this, I ate some tuna, right? Tuna. And I had this Asian zing sauce that I put on this tuna. And yeah, it really did a number. Really did a number. The spice really did a number. So, yeah, wasn't feeling too hot, right? But anyway, I decided that I was going to handle my business and then, hop on and still give you the content, even though it's a little bit later. We started at I don't think I've ever started at 1 o'clock or 1:30. We started at 1:30 tonight. I don't think we've ever started at 1:30 before, but I do appreciate you guys for tapping in. Stop outsourcing. Stop outsourcing is progress. We know prices will increase. Okay. Someone says sounds like CNN. That actually was CNN. Yes, you're right. Trump's grandfather came to America through Canada. He forgets he's an immigrant too. Yeah, you know something? Not entirely. You guys should go check out his niece and listen to some of the things that his niece has to say about. Because I actually heard his niece actually talking about her grandfather, which is Trump's father, earlier tonight, saying that he was a sociopath. And that's his granddaughter. She knows him better than I do, right? So yeah, and she was also explaining a lot of the similar traits between Trump and his father as well, from Germany by way of Canada. Nothing should be outsourced. Hello again, Sherry Ann. How you doing, sweetheart? He said it over and over. I think he might actually believe that one. Just think about cell phone, all those little parts in there that don't come from the same country. So each one will hold a tariff. Now look how much it will cost. Hey, you're absolutely right about that. I vaguely did think about that a little bit before because of all of these different parts that come from different countries. Again, when I was mentioning the different sort of resources that we don't have, that we don't produce in America, that you have to go to one of these countries in order to get it because they actually produce these things in that country or on that continent. Yeah, it's just, it's going to be bad because, let's say bauxite, right? Or whatever it is. We don't have that, right? So, and that's just an example. We probably do have bauxite, but, it's just an example. You obviously don't know what you're talking about, says Jason Strange. Thank you for listening either way. Tariffs should have never gone away, says C. Mander G. Then the saggy Cheeto sack strokes out. Will JD have the same love for Elon? What the saggy Cheeto sack stroke? What? Wait, what? What? I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. I don't think. Honestly, I think when you use the term love, right? I don't think these guys necessarily. I'm not gonna sit up here and say they don't love anything or anyone, right? Like I don't personally don't know these guys, but I think these alliances are based on interests and business, right? I sat here and listened to JD Vance say he's a never Trumper, right? And then a few years later, he's Trump's running mate. I want to believe that JD Vance, I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on this one, but this is what I've been hearing, right? So this is alleged, right? But JD Vance was actually suggested by Elon Musk. I don't know how true it is. It could be true, it could be false. I don't know, right? But at the same time, would that mean that JD Vance is somewhat indebted to Elon Musk a little bit? Probably. Who knows? Maybe, right? We don't know the arrangements behind the scenes. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think I'm not gonna say what I'm not gonna say what I think in that situation. We're gonna keep it moving, right? Because I was gonna curse just now, and I don't want to do that. So let's keep it moving. You would give no tariff. You would give no tariffs like it's candy. What countries will be allowed to visit? You think? What countries will be allowed? Will we be allowed to visit? I don't know, man. I do not know. I don't know where we would be allowed to visit. To be honest with you, I think people are already going to have sort of preconceived notion based on the person that's leading the country that the majority of people in the country are like that, because the majority of the people in the country, although they're saying that he didn't get the popular vote now, right? With all the counts that have been happening, that he didn't get the popular vote. But if he did get the popular vote, it wasn't by that much. But they're probably thinking that the vast majority of Americans think like this guy because they voted for him. I don't know. He's old and he has no career at all. Can we be real for a second and remember that his tariffs did bring his tariffs did during his first term? Cost of living was down. I was able to save some of my wages. I was much more focused on bringing people together. I don't think you understand that economy that he had before was an economy that was inherited, right? So the economy was already projected to be going down. I mean, the cost of living was already being projected to be going down. However, when COVID hit, it really screwed not only just America over, but it screwed most other countries over as well. So I think people need to understand that a little bit as well. The effects of COVID-19 was absolutely catastrophic right around the globe, right? And it wasn't just us that felt the repercussions of that. Various other countries felt it as well, right? So everyone felt it as well. But we were able to make it through. I feel like Fed Chair Powell, he was, I don't know if they were trying to get rid of him. I felt like Fed Chair Powell did a phenomenal job, and I tip my hat off to him. It wasn't pretty at times, but I do tip my hat off to him. But guys, you have to understand that with the things that happened, that transpired, that COVID was the cause, inflation was the effect, right? So, just open your mind, and just to that perspective. That's all I'm saying. Can't imagine he would care since he's probably not going to try to run again. He's going to ride till the wheels fall off this time. Although conspiracy theorists are saying some things about maybe he'll be trying to do another January 6th on his way out. to try to stay in power. But who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah, you can't run more than twice in America, right? Otherwise, Obama would probably still be the president. Who knows? Vance. Okay, I think you're talking to Ryan. Let me go all the way down because I don't think I'm going to be able to read all of these things, but I do appreciate you guys for participating. Um, I'm scared for my grandparents who live in the Social Security and Medicare that they paid into for over 50 years and now could lose it all, including their home and meds they need. Metaverse initiative, I absolutely feel for you and your grandparents as well. Absolutely. Because again, look, remember when they're talking about Doge, right? The Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, and how supposedly, I mean, Congress didn't approve of this, so it's probably not going to be an actual, you know, it's probably not going to be an actual government, it's probably not going to be backed by the government. But anyway, they're speaking about cutting the national, was it the national debt or something along those lines by $2 trillion. I don't know how they're going to do that, or cut spending. I'm sorry, not the debt, but they're going to cut the spending by $2 trillion. And a lot of people have been thinking that that would be the first thing that they're going to target is the Social Security. You know, so yeah, it's one of those things. It's really really unfortunate. It's sad that these are the times that we're in. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Kamala Harris actually really did care about, or still does care about people that are, the again, the middle class, the everyday Americans. Imagine putting in 50 plus half a century, right? Half a century. That is an enormous amount of time, right? And putting in work for half a century in order to receive certain benefits. And in your old age, right? Or in your elderly age, or, in your, as a senior, you're now scared of whether or not you're going to be able to keep those benefits, get those benefits, receive those benefits. It's just bad. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But again, guys, these are things that we were talking about before. These are absolutely things that we were talking about before. You want a president that's willing to listen. You want a president that's willing to try to implement some changes. You want a president that's just, but I don't know, man. I just have no idea. I have no idea what it is that's going on here, and what type of spell, what type of spiritual spell that people are under right now. And to be quite frank, I don't, yeah, I just don't understand it. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over the chat. I'm just desperate trying to reach the hearts of those who are about to be in shock. I'm a Christian. I'll be there when you wake up. Yeah, nah, no problem. Not a problem at all. I appreciate the feedback. Even so, if Dr. Oz is administrator, I have a little hope it will stick around. Drink some tea for our cultured milk tomorrow. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Kefir cultured milk. I appreciate that. I am serious. I can't imagine being surrounded by all of that. Listen, guys, I want to thank each and every single one of you guys for participating again. This is another episode of Live is But a Stream, later than we normally, and this is it's 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time, past 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to I'm going to go now, right? I do have to wake up tomorrow. I was up until 5 a.m. this morning. I don't know why. I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to try to get some sleep. I'm probably not going to go directly to sleep. I'm going to probably play some chess and then go to sleep. But I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Yeah, this is the tariffs. There was actually something else that actually happened today too. I don't even remember what it was, if I'm honest with you. But it It was some other crap. But yeah, every now and then we are gonna touch on these things because these are things that affect all of us, right? But for the most part, we're not always gonna be talking about this guy. But I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys for tapping in. Yeah, take care, everyone. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.